We've already had a couple of lackluster movie adaptations of the Percy Jackson book series, but now Disney Plus giving it a go as a series, and it recently wrapped season one. Let's talk about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the Disney Plus series Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This recently wrapped season one, so you can check out all of the episodes now. And obviously, a very popular book franchise. They made a couple of movies like 10 years ago. They did not do very well. So now we're taking a new direction with it, a whole new cast, obviously. And they've aged down Percy Jackson a little bit from what he was in the movies. He was, I would say, I don't know, 16 maybe or something. Here he's 12. So a little bit of a difference, but I think that's closer to the book, if I'm understanding that correctly. But anyway, we'll launch into all of this stuff here shortly. First, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I post something new. So there's always a ton of stuff to check out. Please consider subscribing, hit that like button, comment below, share it on your socials. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so as to not give away really spoilers, because this is some pretty dense stuff, since we have much more time to spend with these characters than just a 2-hour movie. There's a lot of things involved here. So I'm just going to read kind of the log line that I think will not really give you any spoilers. Percy Jackson is on a dangerous quest. Outrunning monsters and outwitting gods, he must journey across America to return Zeus's master bolt and stop an all-out war with the help of his questmates. That's it. That's all I'm going to say for that. And this stars people that the kids, anyway, for the most part, I don't know. Some of the adults I certainly know. Glenn Turman, Megan Mullally, Jason Mantzoukas are some of the adults. But we have Walker Scobell as Percy Jackson. And you may know him from The Adam Project, which is a movie with Ryan Reynolds a couple of years ago that was a decent amount of fun. And then his friends include Ariane Simhardi. Don't really know him. And then Leah Sava Jeffries. I don't know her either. She was apparently on the TV show Empire. Didn't watch it. Look, in terms of the movies, I didn't really care for them. The first one was like okay. I would have to look back at my grades, but probably like a C plus or something. And then that second one I really thought was not great. So that's probably like a D plus, if I'm remembering right. And I don't really remember them at all. I remember the basic premise. Logan Lerman was Percy Jackson. I thought he did a good job in the role, but kind of wiping the slate clean here, and Disney saying, okay, look, when we bought Fox, this was one of the franchises that came with it. How can we, make this more palatable? How can we do a better service to the books? And from what I've understood, by things that I've read, this does go pretty close to the books, a lot more than the movies did. So this is a really good family-friendly Disney Plus show. Their shows, I think, outside of the Marvel and Star Wars universe, even within the Marvel and Star Wars universe, are hit or miss. But even with, outside of that, for every show like this, or American Born Chinese, which was great earlier in 2023, but a lot of the shows on Disney Plus either skew, too much for kids, or now that they've, established themselves as, okay, we're going to run Marvel shows, we're going to get a little more into that PG-13 and even R-rated territory. Some of the shows, are strictly for adults. This is a really good family-friendly show. And the acting is pretty decent. Some of the younger performers maybe are not completely up to snuff. I think the kid that plays Percy Jackson, Walker Scobell, he's great. And he was great in The Adam Project, too. He played a younger version of Ryan Reynolds, and he had like that snark and stuff. Here, they've toned down sort of that aspect, but his performance in, this sort of the action-oriented sequences, is good, but then also he's got some dramatic stuff with his mom, and in the first episode, there's like some stuff that happens at school, and, in those scenes, he's pretty good as well. He overacts maybe a little bit in some of those more dramatized scenes, like when he's in the principal's office, but for the most part, I think he does a really good job in this role. One sort of sore thumb sticking out is Jason Mantzoukas. I think his brand of humor doesn't quite gel with what they're trying to do with the show, because the show is a little bit witty at times. I wouldn't call it a funny show necessarily, but it's got some wit to it, certainly. But Mantzoukas, we've seen him in so many things. I don't know if you know him by name, but you certainly would know him to see him. He's been in, 100 things. His sort of brand of humor, I'm not sure if it gels with what the rest of the show is trying to do, but maybe they could have had somebody else play him. But Megan Mullally is great. Glenn Turman, look, people may not know him. I used to watch the show A Different World way back 30 years ago, and I loved him on that. And then I didn't see him for a long, long time. And then recently he's been in a handful of movies. He was in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He was in Rustin, which is nominated for an Oscar this year. And he is in this in a pretty prominent role. And so it's great to see him and doing all of these, sort of different things. Rustin, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, very dramatic. A Different World, certainly years ago, was more comedic. And this is, more action oriented. He's great here. The effects are pretty good. I always say I don't think we expect necessarily movie budget quality effects on a streaming show, but Disney Plus usually does get behind their projects in that sense. Certainly the Marvel shows have really good budgets, but even something like this, the effects are pretty solid, but it's the storytelling here, I think, that will keep people coming back. I don't know if it has been renewed for a second season or not, but I know there's a handful of books in the series, so there's plenty of ground to cover if they do continue on with the series. But you can check out the entirety of season 1 now on Disney Plus. They were doing the one episode a week model that Disney usually does, but they're all up for season 1 now. I leave Percy Jackson and the Olympians with an A minus. Definitely one of the better family friendly shows of 2023. So you can check that out now on Disney Plus. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It, and we'll see you next time. Bye.